Experts say it's one of the most dangerous times for people in abusive relationships, the moment they decide to leave. There is an expectation the justice system will protect them.
But tonight, KARE 11 investigates why one victim believes the system did not protect her. Here's Lauren Lemanchek with a difficult but important story that includes a stunning recorded confession from the man accused of abusing her.
My nose is broken.
I'm so sorry, dude. I can never make it up to you, but I am sorry.
The voice of a man accused of turning this Mankato apartment
2 broken fingers here
into Chelsea Zamudio's cell.
Hours of kicks and slaps and punches.
Held captive and brutally attacked, she says, by her ex-boyfriend, John Robert Olson,
I have 22 broken bones.
who'd been set free from jail just hours before for assaulting her a month earlier.
Everybody could see this coming a mile away.
The bruises have barely faded as Chelsea bravely tells her story.
It happened so fast the first time.
The first time she called police
911, what's the address of the emergency?
was in early July when Olson waited in the dark outside her apartment.
My ex-boyfriend was here, John Olson, and he hit me in the face so hard that I fell and I cracked my head on the ground.
Was that the first time John had hit you?
No.
She told police Olson had strangled her before and she feared he would kill her. Olson was arrested and charged with felony harassment and gross misdemeanor domestic assault, crimes with enhanced penalties because Olson has a criminal record a mile long, including prior domestic violence and violating restraining orders. He could have faced years in prison.
But then, a month later, prosecutors offered Olson a plea deal, dropping the felony, which carried a harsher sentence, in exchange for a guilty plea to domestic assault.
Instead of prison, Olson would receive just 60 days in jail, most of which he'd already served awaiting trial. The plea deal also called for him to be released, pending sentencing. No bail, no ankle monitor.
No GPS monitor, nothing. They just let him right out.
Emails showed Chelsea had just 1 day's notice before the plea hearing, barely enough time to tell the prosecutor she objected to the deal.
I've told him, just like I've told everyone that is close with me, that if he is released on the streets, pick a hospital or pick a morgue, because it's going to be one or the other.
But a transcript shows no one told the judge about Chelsea's objection. Hours later, Olson was released and followed through on a threat, showing up at her door.
And then he reminded me that if I testified against him, he was going to kill me.
And he nearly did. Photos show the aftermath. Chelsea was beaten, choked, and raped. Her apartment caked in blood. It only stopped when she played dead.
When a woman is telling people he's going to hurt me, how should the system handle that?
They need to believe it.
Joe Shannon helps put together Violence Free Minnesota's annual domestic violence homicide report, focusing on 5 key risk factors for deadly violence.
In this case, there were, I believe, 4 of those. She had left the relationship, there was a history of violence, he had strangled her, and he had threatened to kill her.
Stitches on my eye.
Joe says he was surprised by the deal, especially lack of GPS, and appalled by the fact that Chelsea was given just 1 day's notice.
Nothing about that is keeping her safety in mind.
Minnesota law requires victim notice, but is silent on how much notice must be given. Blue Earth County prosecutors declined to comment on this case because it's still open. Former Ramsey County attorney Susan Gertner agreed to look at the details.
When domestic violence victims report what's happened to them, to the system, they are often disappointed with the limits to what the criminal justice system can do.
A longtime advocate for domestic abuse victims, she acknowledges the justice system is not always set up to protect them. Sometimes, like in the first assault Chelsea reported, prosecutors have tough choices on how best to protect the public.
Sometimes that can mean getting a conviction so that the next time around, when the behavior is repeated, there's a more serious consequence.
From her hospital bed,
I knew he'd call me.
Chelsea decided to ensure Olson wouldn't get away again.
You're not going to record this and get me in more trouble, are you?
She did record
I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry.
as Olson confessed,
I'm not supposed to hit you anymore, and that went way too far yesterday. I don't know. You were pushing my buttons, but that doesn't get me right.
admitting he believed he'd killed her.
You were dead for like 8 minutes. Literally.
I wanted to do everything I possibly could to make sure the state could not say, we don't have enough, we're not sure.
Tonight, Olson's back in jail, charged with assault, kidnapping, and witness tampering, facing years in prison. Chelsea wishes it hadn't taken this to put him there.
I'm angry that this went this far.
Oof, that is such a troubling piece. She's so brave to share her story. It's not an easy story to share. So many things we could talk about, but one that strikes me is she had 1 day notice.
1 day
Before
notice
he was
that the
out?
plea hearing was going to be the next day. He'd be released right afterwards. Now, as we said, Minnesota law doesn't spell out how much notice victims are to receive before a plea hearing or before a release, but what it does spell out is that if a victim has communicated objections to a plea, the prosecuting attorney shall make those objections known in court. Now, again, Blue Earth County attorney declined to comment because there is still this open case against John Olson.
Well, I hope she's on her, it looks like she's on her road to recovery. She seems like a bright young woman.
She is. It's a long road ahead.
Yeah.
It hasn't been easy for her, but she is smart and she's getting through it.
Let's hope this guy gets what he
Yeah.
deserves at this point, right?
All right. Thanks so much, Lauren. Well, we want you to know if you or someone you love is in an abusive relationship, there is help. Minnesota Day One has a 24/7 hotline, and the number is on your screen. We also have a lot more resources at care11.com.